did it. I'ma tell him I rose up. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger. I will rise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger.
What's up, guys? Hope you're all well. So today we're going to be taking a look at my official Premier League predictions for the upcoming 24-25 season. Before we get into predictions, guys, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. We are now at 91 subscribers. So guys, thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, let's get straight into the predictions. Okay then, guys, so kicking off my relegation zone, going down in 20th place, I've got Leicester City. Now, the main reason why I got Leicester City down in 20th is because of the massive rumour of them having a massive points deduction. If it is true, if they do get that massive points deduction, then I do see them struggling to get out of that points deduction. You know, if it's as low as minus 15, as some sources are saying, then it is going to be difficult to get out of that situation, especially when you're in the Premier League and you're fighting against the likes of like Man City, Man United, Liverpool, teams that are really strong in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, I do like Leicester City. I think they're a good side. You know, they really deserved that win in the Championship last season. They really deserved the title because they were very strong. They're a very strong side. They have made some good signings. Two main ones being in Cordova Reed from Fulham, and also they've managed to fully sign Fatawu on a permanent deal, which is a very good one for Leicester City, because I do think Fatawu was very good for Leicester City last season, and so I do feel like Leicester City are going to try their best, because obviously they want to get out of that minus points deduction sort of situation, but I just don't see them getting out of it. So yeah, 20th place for Leicester for me. Coming in at 19th place then, and my second team getting relegated, I've got Brentford. Now, the reason why I got Brentford down here is mainly due to the fact, like, is Ivan Toney going to go? I feel like if Ivan Toney does go, then I feel like Brentford will miss him quite a bit. They have replaced him with a striker called Igor Thiago, but I don't know whether he'll score as many goals as Toney, or whether he'll be as good as Ivan Toney. I feel like if Brentford do lose Ivan Toney, then I feel like they are going to struggle a little bit, especially if they lose all their front three with the likes of Ivan Toney, and Mbeumo, and Wissa, and Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank will still be there, but if they lose that front three, or at least two of them, then I feel like they will struggle a little bit. So yeah, I just have a feeling that Brentford won't do as well next season, and they'll struggle. I'm sorry for Brentford's fans, I know you don't want to hear that, but I just have a feeling that Toney might go. You know, there's rumours saying that he's probably going to go to teams like Arsenal or something, and if that is true, if Arsenal do come in for him, then I feel like Toney will say yes and go to Arsenal. So I feel like if you do lose Ivan Toney, then you are going to struggle. So yeah, 19th place for Brentford for me. Coming in at 18th place, and my third team getting relegated. Now, this position was just as difficult as the Championship final relegation zone. You know, Leicester and Brentford. Leicester's reason was pretty much because of a rumour about the points deduction, and them starting with minus like 15 points or something. Brentford's situation was due to the fact that they could lose Ivan Toney and Mbeumo, Wissa, and all those guys. With this last placement, it was really a big toss-up. It was very difficult to choose. So whoever does go in 18th place, then I pretty much picked you just because I had to, because obviously you have to pick teams to get relegated. So in 18th place, I've pretty much gone with Fulham. Now, the reason why I've gone with Fulham is pretty much what I just said. I randomly picked them to go down because of how difficult that last spot was. I just feel like Fulham might struggle. I don't know why. I feel like Fulham will be a good side next season. You know, they've made a few good signings in bringing in Ryan Sessegnon from Spurs, and also bringing in Emil Smith-Rowe from Arsenal, who are two great additions to Fulham, don't get me wrong. And also, don't get me wrong, I do like Fulham. I think they are a good side. But some seasons you do see teams that are good but ending up going down without any reason, and it's like a massive shock where you're just like, how did they get relegated? Their team was actually quite good, but it does happen. So I just feel like Fulham's going to be one of those teams where you expect them to do really well, but something just doesn't click and they end up going down. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Fulham fans. I don't know you don't want to hear that either, but I have to choose someone to go down, and unfortunately, I've gone with Fulham. So yeah, 18th place for Fulham for me. Okay then, guys, coming in at 17th place, and my team just survived relegation. I've got Ipswich Town. Yes, that's right, you heard me, guys. I've got Ipswich Town to stay up. Now, I have a lot of respect for every single team in the world, except for one team. You guys probably already know what that team is. But I always think that if I don't have a problem with that team and they don't have a problem with me, then there's no reason why we should be arguing or anything. I just sit back, relax, and enjoy some amazing football with amazing fans. And yeah, and Ipswich have earned even more of my respect, and that's mainly due to their story that they've just had. They went down to League One. They were in League One for a little bit. Then they got second in League One, getting themselves promoted to the Championship last season. And then last season, they were in the Championship and they got straight up to second in the Championship in automatic promotion spots, straight to the Premier League without anybody really expecting it. So, and their massive party, their massive party that they had, their promotion party that they had at Portman Road when they got their promotion was absolutely incredible. So Ipswich Town fans, you have earned so much more of my respect for that. So congratulations. I'm really happy to see you back in the Premier League. And to be fair, I am quite happy that Ipswich came up instead of Leeds. No disrespect to Leeds, but if you really think about it, if Leeds got promoted instead of Ipswich, we would have had the exact same Premier League season as we would have had as we did like a couple of seasons ago. So I am really happy that Ipswich came up as well. Yeah, I just think Ipswich will do very well. I really like their transfer business. They brought in the likes of Amari Hutchinson. They brought him back from Chelsea, who did really well at Ipswich last season. They brought in Townsend from West Brom, who was a very good player. They brought in Liam Delap from Man City, who was on loan to Hull City last season. Delap's a very good player as well. They brought in Jacob Greaves from Hull City, who was a very good defender. They brought in the Burnley goalkeeper in Muric, who was a very good goalkeeper for Burnley as well. And they also brought in Ben Johnston from West Ham. So they made some very good signings, and I really do think they'll stay up. I do feel like Ipswich will grind out some good wins, some good draws, and I feel like they'll just be very good next season. So yeah, 17th place for Ipswich for me. They are staying up. Coming in at 16th place then, I've got Nottingham Forest. Now I do like Nottingham Forest. They are a very good club in my eyes. I do like their signings. They've brought in De Silva, Moreira. They've brought in Elliot Anderson from Newcastle, Milenkovic, Jota Silva, Miguel, and Cahill as well. So they've made a couple of good signings. And in pre-season, I know it's still pre-season, but still in pre-season, Nottingham Forest are doing very well with their results, and I'm very happy for them. Lots of people have them going down because of them just surviving in the Premier League for the past 2 seasons, but I feel like I have a bit more faith in them, and I think that they will stay up. Nottingham Forest, I feel like with their new signings, they might be able to pinch out some very good wins, pinch out some very good results. I feel like they'll probably go quite far in cup runs such as the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup as well. I just feel like Nottingham Forest will be a lot better next season. Last season, I felt really sorry for Nottingham Forest because they had quite a few decisions go against them. Like that, the most notable one would be that game that Nottingham Forest had against Everton, where Nottingham Forest were in a relegation scrap against Luton, and no disrespect to Everton, I think they played well as well, but why would you put a Luton supporter on VAR during a Nottingham Forest match when Nottingham Forest and Luton are in a relegation scrap? That just seemed so wrong to me. I don't think that a Luton supporter should have been there. I feel like you could have picked any other supporter to be on a VAR, but a Luton supporter, whilst Nottingham Forest and Luton were in a relegation scrap, not the best idea. But yeah, I do feel like Nottingham Forest will be a lot better next season, and I feel like they will stay up. So yeah, 16th place for Nottingham Forest for me. Coming in at 15th place, I've got Bournemouth. Now, for me, Bournemouth have become quite a good side now. They've become more confident with staying in the Premier League, if that makes sense. Iriola is the Bournemouth manager, and he is doing very well with Bournemouth. You know, last season, Bournemouth picked up some very good results. Some of the most notable ones would be the 3-0 away at Manchester United. They picked up some very good results. They basically played really, really well last season, and they finished in top half of the Premier League. So congratulations to Bournemouth. That was an incredible season for you guys. They have made some good signings. Two of the most notable ones would be Sinistera from Leeds, and also bringing in Unal as well. So I feel like those two signings are very, very good ones. I just feel like Bournemouth will be the same next season and just be a very good side. So yeah, 15th place for Bournemouth for me. In 14th place then, I've got Everton. Now, Everton last season struggled a little bit, mainly due to the fact that they had a couple of points deductions as well. I think Everton overall did really well. Even though they struggled with the points deductions, their overall performance in the Premier League was actually quite decent. If you think about it, if they had added those deducted points back on, Everton probably would have finished like mid-table or something. So Everton last season were actually okay. They actually did quite well. I feel like next season, because they don't have any points deductions, I think Everton will do a lot better. And so I feel like Everton will have a very, very good season next season, pick up some good wins, play some very good football. They have made a couple of good signings with the likes of O'Brien and Lindstrom, just a couple of names there coming into Everton who could be quite good for them. And so yeah, I feel like Everton will be very good. So 14th place for Everton. In 13th place, I've got Brighton. Now, I do like Brighton. I think they're a very good club. They've become a very solid team now. Last season, Brighton were in Europe for pretty much their very first time ever. And I really like that. It reminded me back when Southampton were in Europe for the first time. And I think Brighton will be a very good team next season as well. Obviously, last season, because they were in Europe, they did drop down the table a little bit, and they ended up not finishing back in Europe again. They actually ended up finishing like just outside the top 10. I feel like Brighton are a very well-known club for bringing in gems that nobody's ever heard of, and they end up making those players really good. So I feel like Brighton will do very well next season. They have got a new manager, so it'll be very interesting to see where he takes them. Overall, I think Brighton will be okay, and they'll pick up some very good results. They'll play some very good football. Brighton have made a couple of good signings as well, bringing in the likes of Osman, Minter from Newcastle. They've lost the likes of Lana and Gross, but I think they'll still be okay with the gems that they put. So yeah, I just feel like Brighton will be very good. So yeah, 13th place for Brighton for me. In 12th place then, I've got Wolves. Now, I do like Wolves as well. I think they're also a very good club. They've now got Gary O'Neill as their manager, and last season Gary O'Neill did very, very well with Wolves. I feel like Wolves were a very solid team last season. I think it was just the refereeing decisions and the VAR decisions that really killed their season. I feel like if those VAR decisions and the refereeing decisions weren't put against Wolves, or at least most of them, maybe who knows, maybe Wolves could have made Europe as well. But unfortunately, because of those VAR and refereeing decisions, they didn't really make it up the table that far. They ended up finishing outside the top 10, which I feel sorry for Wolves, because honestly, it is annoying when a lot of refereeing decisions and VAR decisions go against you, especially if you know that some of those decisions shouldn't have counted, if that makes sense. I just feel like next season Wolves will do really well. They brought in Tommy Doyle from Man City. They also brought in Gomez. So I feel like those two players might be very good for Wolves next season. And so yeah, I just feel like Wolves will be very decent, pick up some good wins, play some very good football, and finish top half of the table. So yeah, 12th place for Wolves for me. Coming in at 11th place then, and just missing out of the top 10, I've got Southampton. Now this might seem a little bit biased because I am a Southampton fan, but no, I generally think that we might do quite well. We might do okay. For me, Southampton will do one of two things. We'll either come up, be far too open because Russell Martin's style of football is to keep the ball, but also have everybody going up the pitch and be very open. So we'll either be far too open and struggle because of that, or we'll come up and surprise a few teams. Russell Martin has said that he would like to appoint at least two more people before we play Newcastle on the first day of the Premier League season. However, I'd rather have three people in. My first one that I'd rather have in would be Matt O'Reilly, the Celtic midfielder that we've been linked with for quite a while now. It'll be really nice to see us finally get him over the line. Also, a new goalkeeper in Aaron Ramsdale. Now, I know a lot of people would say that Aaron Ramsdale to Southampton is quite unlikely because there's other teams that are after him as well. There's Bournemouth, Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and another one that I've completely forgotten. There's lots of teams that are in a race to get Aaron Ramsdale, but I feel like Southampton have been in the race to get Ramsdale the longest. Not saying that we definitely will get him because of that, because obviously Newcastle are in that race as well, and I feel like if they really wanted to go for Ramsdale, they would at least buy him with the full price tag that Arsenal want for him. So yeah, I want Matt O'Reilly from Celtic, Aaron Ramsdale, but also an out-and-out striker. I feel like Southampton are still missing that out-and-out striker. Yes, we went and got Ben Brereton Diaz, but for me, Ben Brereton Diaz is better on the wings. He's more of a winger than a striker for me. We have made a few good signings. We bought Adam Lallana back. We've got Taylor Howard-Bellis on a permanent deal from Man City now that we got promoted. We've got Flynn Downs in on a permanent from West Ham. We've brought in Charlie Taylor on a free transfer from Burnley. Nathan Wood from Swansea. We brought in Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough. We brought in Yukinari Sugawara from AZ Alkmaar. And then we've also got Ben Brereton Diaz. They're the few key signings that we've done. I feel like they're all good signings so far. I feel like we just need to get in Matt O'Reilly, the player that we were after for quite a while. New goalkeeper in Aaron Ramsdale because I don't really rate Alex McCarthy that much. I think he struggles with his feet, if that makes sense. And also an out-and-out striker is still needed. So yeah. Call me biased if you want, but I'm going to say that Southampton will have a good season and they stay up. Might be a bit lower, but I'm just going to go with 11th. So yeah, 11th place for Southampton for me. Going at 10th place and just breaking into the top 10, I've got Crystal Palace. Now for me, Crystal Palace are going to be a very strong suit in the Premier League next season, mainly due to the fact that they've got Glasner as their manager. Last season, towards the end of the season, Glasner had Crystal Palace on a very good unbeaten run. I feel like Glasner and Crystal Palace are going to be a very, very scary team next season, mainly because of how much attacking that squad does now under Glasner. I know it was the end of the season, but they went and completely obliterated Aston Villa 5-0, which was a complete shock. I didn't expect Crystal Palace to win by that much, especially due to the fact that they were facing a very tough Aston Villa side. Crystal Palace also went and beat Liverpool at Anfield, which was a very surprising one as well. So yeah, I just feel like next season Crystal Palace are going to be very good. They brought in a couple of good signings, two signings that I can remember in Kamada and Sarr, who I think will be quite good for them next season. They have lost Michael Elise, but I think that will be okay because they'll probably replace him with someone, and Glasner will probably get that player playing really well. And they still got the likes of Mateta and Eze there. So now I know I have heard that Tottenham and Man City are linked with Eze, but as far as I know, they haven't really gone in for Eze yet. I think Eze is simply just on their list of transfers that they'd like to try, but they're not going to go for him yet. There is potential that Man City and Tottenham do go for him at some point this week or next. But I just think that if they keep Eze and Mateta, then they'll still be very good. If they lose them, then it's important for them to. It's important that they replace them. But I still think Crystal Palace will be very good regardless. So yeah, 10th place for Crystal Palace for me. Coming at 9th place, I've got West Ham United. Now I like West Ham as well. They are a very good club. For me, West Ham are this high up the list mainly due to their transfer activity. Their transfer window is really impressing me so far. Three main transfers that they've done at the moment is bringing in Wes Foderingham, the goalkeeper from Sheffield United, bringing in Max Kilman, the defender from Wolves, and just recently bringing in Crescencio Somerville from Leeds United, the winger from Leeds United. And those three signings for me are very, very good ones. They've still got the likes of, obviously, James Ward-Prowse. Obviously, I'm going to remember him a lot because he used to be at Southampton. They've still got the likes of Paqueta, who is still there as well. They've still got Mohamed Kudus, who was a very good player last season. They've still got a really stacked squad with a lot of quality in it. So I feel like West Ham will just do really, really well next season. And yeah, West Ham are a very good team, and I feel like they're going to be a very good team next season. So yeah, 9th place West Ham for me. Coming in at 8th place and just missing out on Europe, I've got Newcastle United. Now I do like Newcastle as well because they are also a very strong suit in the Premier League. They've made a couple of good signings in Kelly from Bournemouth. They brought in John Ruddy, the goalkeeper from Birmingham, and they've also brought in Lewis Hall as a permanent signing now from Chelsea. Now, I just don't know. I just feel like Newcastle will probably fall short of the Europe. And for this one, I'm completely happy with getting it wrong because now that Newcastle don't have Europe, they pretty much have full reign of the top four. They can pretty much go for it now. For me, Newcastle have been a little bit quiet in the transfer window, and I know that probably isn't a really bad thing because they still got a lot of like good players there, but I just feel like they're probably going to fall short. I also like Eddie Howe. I think he's a very good manager as well. I don't know. I just see Newcastle falling short. I don't know why. Sorry, Newcastle fans. I know you don't want to hear that, but yeah, I'm just going to go with it. So yeah, 8th place for Newcastle for me. Coming at 7th place then and making a Europa Conference League, I've got Tottenham Hotspur. Now, for me, Tottenham are a very good club. They've made some good signings as well. They've bought Timo Werner on a loan deal again, and they've also brought in the likes of Archie Gray from Leeds United. So a couple of good signings there. For me, Tottenham are in Europe this time round. They do have Europa League to go through this time. I just feel like Tottenham will fall short of Europa League and the Champions League again, just for the fact that they've got Europe to contend with as well. So it is important for Postecoglou to get his squad ready for both the Premier League and Europa League as well. So it is kind of difficult to sort of go for both leagues because obviously Premier League and Europa League are both difficult things to go through. So I just feel like Tottenham might fall short. I do like Tottenham. I feel like they are a strong suit in the Premier League. I like Ange Postecoglou. I think he's a very good manager. However, I just feel like Tottenham will fall short of Europa League this time round, but I still think they're going to get Europa Conference League. So yeah, 7th place for Tottenham for me. Coming in at 6th place and making Europa League, I've got Chelsea. Now I like Chelsea as well. I think they're a good club as well. Chelsea have made a couple of good signings, with the most notable one being Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall from Leicester City. Now I like Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I think he's a very good footballer, so I think Chelsea have made a good signing there. Chelsea for me have Europe to go through as well, so they're going to be focusing on that as well as the Premier League. Just like Tottenham, I feel like Chelsea will give the Premier League and Europe a very good go, and I feel like Chelsea will just barely fall short of the top 4, but I still feel like Chelsea will have a very good season and do very well in the Premier League and Europe as well. So yeah, 6th place for Chelsea for me. In 5th place on my second team to reach Europa League, I've got Aston Villa. Now, last season, Aston Villa completely blew me away. Unai Emery is such a good manager for them. I'm so glad to see Villa do well. I hope they have a very good time in the Champions League. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Aston Villa are in the Champions League this time round, but last season Newcastle were in the Champions League, so it'll be interesting to see which of the two do better in the Champions League now that we've got Aston Villa in it this time round. And I feel like Aston Villa will have a very good shot at it. I'm really impressed with their transfer business so far. They brought in Maatsen, they brought in Dobbin, Berenchen, Ross Barkley, Cameron Archer, Philogene, Amadou Onana, just a few key players that they've brought in that I think are very good signings. Yeah, I just feel like Aston Villa will do very, very good next season and reach Europa again, but this time get Europa League. And I feel like that would be quite cool. So in like 3 seasons, Aston Villa have made Europa Conference League, Champions League, and Europa League. All three Europes in 3 seasons. I think that would just be really cool. So yeah, I feel like Aston Villa will do very, very well and get 5th place. So yeah, 5th place for Villa for me. Okay then guys, it is time for my top 4. In 4th place, I've got Manchester United. Now, I do like Manchester United. I think they're a very good club with a massive history behind them, and I quite like Erik ten Hag. I think he can be a very good manager at times. For me, Manchester United next season will improve a lot. Obviously, last season, Manchester United didn't really have the season that they really wanted, and they ended up finishing 8th, which came out to be their lowest ever position in the Premier League. For me, like I just said, I think Manchester United will improve a lot more. They made a couple of good signings in the likes of Joshua Zirkzee and Lenny Euro, who unfortunately for Manchester United is out with an injury until November or so. So that is a bit of a bummer for Manchester United. And they've also got Rasmus Højlund out until September. But, that's only until September. So it's only a few games without Rasmus Højlund there. And even without Rasmus Højlund, they still got Joshua Zirkzee, who will probably be very good for them as well. So yeah, I just feel like Manchester United will have a much better season next season and finish in the top 4. So yeah, 4th place for Manchester United for me. Coming in at 3rd place, I've got Liverpool. Now, I like Liverpool as well. I think they are also a very good side. Like I said earlier, I pretty much like every single team. I think I've got a lot of respect for pretty much every single team. For me, Liverpool have improved for me because in my earlier predictions I had Liverpool 4th, but Liverpool have moved up for me because it seems to me, even though it's pre-season, Liverpool are gelling quite quickly under Arne Slot. Apart from their first pre-season match against Preston where they lost, they won the rest of their pre-season matches, which is actually quite good. So it means that they are gelling quite a lot, and for me it's quite impressive because it is difficult to gel with a new manager after you've been with your current manager for pretty much over like 9 years or so. So it is difficult to get to gel to the style of play really quickly, but for me, those players have already gelled quite nicely. So I feel like Liverpool will have a very good season next season. Liverpool still have yet to make a signing, but for me, it just shows that you don't really have to make a signing in order to still be really good. So if Liverpool want to go through the whole transfer window without uh, uh, buying anyone, then that's up to them, really, isn't it? So I do feel like Liverpool will have a very good season again and finish third place again. So yeah, third place for Liverpool for me. Right then, coming in second place, I've actually gone with Manchester City. Now for me, Manchester City are still one of, if not the strongest teams in the world right now. Man City are a very strong suit. They always have been for the past 10 years or so. For me, Man City have every right to possibly go and win the title again. I really wouldn't be surprised if they win it again. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Man City of making history where they've now won 4 back-to-back Premier League titles in a row. So congratulations, Man City, on that. For me, I just don't see them getting their 5th this time round. I feel like them and Arsenal will be in another title race, but I feel like Man City will just fall short of it this time. They have made a signing in Savinho, who I think would be quite good for them. We'll just have to see how he does, because he's their one and only signing so far. But yeah, Man City are still a very strong suit for me. They still got the likes of Haaland. De Bruyne is still there because he doesn't want to go to Saudi. You still got a Rodri there. Your back four of Walker, Diaz, Stones, Akanji, Ake, Cavadio. They still got a lot of good players there that are still good enough to challenge for the title. However, I just see them falling short this time round. So yeah, second place for Manchester City for me. And here we are, guys, my champion of the Premier League this time round. I've already spoiled it when I was talking about Man City. My champion of Premier League this time round is going to be Arsenal. I really do like Arsenal. I think they're a very good club. They're a very good team. Arsenal have made a couple of good signings with bringing in Tommy Stepford, Calafiori, making David Raya a permanent signing as well, bringing in Lucas Nygaard as well. So they brought in a couple of good players as well. I feel like next season Arsenal won't want City to win it again, because obviously next season will be Arsenal's third title race against Man City. So maybe a third time's a charm. They then win it. They finally win it over Man City. And I feel like that might happen. I do back Arsenal to win the league next season, and I feel like they will do it. So yeah, Arsenal are my champions of the Premier League. What do you guys think on that one? So yeah, guys, that wraps up my official Premier League table predictions for the upcoming 24-25 season. And it doesn't just wrap up my Premier League predictions, it also wraps up my entire table predictions for every single English Football League, all from National League all the way up to the Premier League. I hope you've all enjoyed my predictions today and throughout the entire series here. As always, please be sure to share your Premier League predictions down in the comments below. Share your thoughts. What do you think of my predictions? I hope you guys don't get too annoyed at where I put your teams. Remember, it's just a prediction. Anything can happen in football. We really don't know. Please just don't get too annoyed at it. Don't start shouting in the comments going, oh, my team should have been there. My team shouldn't be down at the bottom. My team should be all the way up there. It's just my prediction. It's just where I think the teams are going to be. I could be completely wrong on every single team. I'm completely fine with that, because I know I'm going to be wrong on some of them. I know that because, it's predictions. Teams like Plymouth could end up being in 10th. We really don't know. But yeah, as always, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, guys!